Rule number 1,
Bios.
always right. Rule number 2, nothing else matters because
Bios
is always right.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bios, and in today's video we are going to be continuing the conversation of what's been happening around the new controversy around Nintendo of their user license agreement. There's been news going around about how Nintendo is having people agree when you get the console that they have the authority to break your console if you were to modify it or anything like that. So basically a $450 item that is purchased by the customer is no longer theirs because they have the right, once it connects to the internet and through maybe a software update, will just break your console and make it completely unusable. So there's been a lot of fire, a lot of controversy, a lot of backlash around this after the backlash of the price of the Nintendo Switch 2 games that will be coming out. Now there's this. I've already reacted to a previous video about the topic. Be sure to check that out. You see a little pop up right there, and it'll also be in the description. We are watching RGT85, Nintendo's big warning before the Switch 2 launch. This video came out 12 days ago, and it received 47K views. Now this video was recommended to me by my friend Bobby, aka Banjo. And the last video was also recommended by him. I don't know if I said it in the last video, but I'm saying it now. Both of these videos were recommended by him for me to watch to get more information about this. And if you guys have anything like that you want me to react to, whether it be gaming news, gaming trailers, discussions, whatever that's centered around a game, I will be more than happy to react to it and just give my thoughts and opinions based on my own experience. So if you have been enjoying the content so far, be sure to like, subscribe, and most importantly, comment. I do want to hear from you. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to have a discussion with you in the comments. If you look at my past videos, you see that I try to reply to most people if when I can, and I just like chatting it up with you guys. So without further ado, we are going to get right into it.
Than 1 month away from the launch of the Nintendo Switch 2, and I mean, it's been an interesting ride thus far. Obviously, I have not agreed with everything that Nintendo has put out there in terms of different things and features and price points and stuff like that, but it's all kind of a subjective thing. Some people are fine with it, some people aren't fine with it, and I don't think there's really a right or wrong answer. But yesterday, a story started floating around the internet about Nintendo essentially doing an update to something as sort of a warning for the Nintendo Switch 2. And people just absolutely lost their minds over this. And I don't honestly know why. Because if you actually sat down and thought about it, instead of just being a reactionary person, you would understand that this warning isn't exactly like new. This isn't new information. This isn't new stuff being brought to the table. But people are treating this as if this is the first time they have ever heard something like this. So what am I talking about? What is the warning? And why do I think that a lot of people are just stupid? Nah, that's what we're going to talk about in today's video.
Well, that is a wow. That's a way to kind of put how people are feeling about the situation. I don't know if he meant that as a joke, but if he isn't, that's kind of messed up. In my opinion, that's not a good way to talk about people. Like, this is a very serious thing. Like, okay, so in my last video, we basically learned that the news of Nintendo having the authority to break your console via an update isn't new. This is 9-year-old information. It's happened since the 3DS. Now, once again, a lot of the people at the time, like, okay, the 3DS, I feel like the 3DS then compared to the Nintendo Switch 2 now are of two different popularity points. You know, a lot of Nintendo's big hype. Nintendo has been established. All right, they've been established. They've never not been like this. Okay, they've always tried to get the most money out of people. They've always tried to keep things at a high price. They, you know, all that egregious stuff. That is not new, and we're not denying that. But when it comes to the customer knowledge, as you know, someone like me who is like a regular person, I'm not an enthusiast, I'm not anything like that. I just try to keep up with the information so I can be well informed, as well as inform you guys. The popularity happened during COVID with the Switch because of COVID, the Switch became like a huge must have because everyone was locked inside and the thing exploded. So now that, in fact, not even that it exploded, gaming in general exploded. All right. Gaming live streams, let's plays, um, gaming content, all of that exploded due to COVID. So now that you have all of these basically new people getting into gaming, the the consumer base, the customer base is much larger. So you have these people who weren't really into these things or didn't have the time. Now that they do, now they're hearing that the Switch 2 has this that can brick their thing because these people really enjoyed the Switch. And once again, I know people who have bought the Switch 5 times. The Switch OLED, and all the different iterations of it. Um, they love the Switch. They love it. They love its portability and everything like that. And then they're learning that, oh, if they wanted to mod it, this is what's going to happen to it to become basically unusable. So, of course, we're still going to watch the video and see what he's really going to be saying. But I feel like it's very insensitive to think that, oh, this has always been a thing. You guys are just stupid because it's always been there. That's not a good conversation to have. That's not a good narrative to have going around. Oh, just because it's been there. Um, it's been there. Like that doesn't make it right. That's like saying back in my other video about the guy that was talking about don't buy the Switch 2, and when he said that there was a comment that said like, oh, PlayStation tried to do $80 games or something like that they were charging more during the time. Okay, and we don't like it. We don't want that. I don't care if Sony did it. We don't want it. Period. I don't want them to do it. I don't want PCs to do it. I don't want Xbox, Nintendo, nobody. We don't want that from nobody. All right. Now as far as the reason for why this is happening, and once again, this was proven again in my last video, that Nintendo is doing this, or has been doing this, excuse me, to get around emulation. It may be a much bigger front now because the Switch 2 is going to be huge, but they're trying to crack down on emulation. Emulation is legal. Excuse me. Emulation is legal. And basically what it is like game preservation where they're able to keep the game running online for people to play and access, have a gaming history and stuff like that. It's archivable content around certain games, and it's legal. It's legal to have those things accessible online. I don't know the whole gist of it, but that's what I know. I know that it's legal, and I know that Nintendo does not like it. They've shut down many things, and the big catalyst that I know of was Breath of the Wild due to some emulation company that put it behind a paywall. That's where everything kind of went to crap. So no more yapping from me. Let's continue with the video.
Subscribe if you are new. So Nintendo updates its user agreement to crack down on emulation. Offenders may find their Switch bricked. And oh boy, is everyone going crazy. So basically,
I don't like his tone. I just don't like his tone about this. But let's continue.
This comes from Steven Totillo, basically saying that the end user license agreement, the EULA for the Nintendo Switch, has been updated right before the Nintendo Switch 2, so obviously this is going to carry over. Basically, before it said you're not allowed to lease, rent, sublicense, publish, copy, modify, adapt, translate, reverse engineer, decompile, or disassemble all or any portion of Nintendo account services without Nintendo's written consent or else otherwise expressly permitted by applicable law. And
oh my god, that'll be the day. Nintendo giving a written consent to somebody who wants to keep their game under game preservation into emulation or anything like that. Like, oh my god, put that on literally frame it. If someone gets a written compliable permission by Nintendo that yeah, you can do this, literally put that in the Hall of Fame. Like, that is literal gold. I would that's crazy. That's because they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. Absolutely not.
And now they've updated it to this whole big paragraph, basically talking about that if you are failing to comply with things like this, the Nintendo account may be rendered unusable in whole or part. So basically they're saying, hey, don't do anything that's unauthorized on the Switch. and the Switch 2, or else we could brick your account. And then, man, people just freaked out about this. Well, who's to say what's authorized and what's not authorized? Why would Nintendo do this? They're going to brick your system for any reason they seem fit. And I mean, that is one way to potentially think about it if you want to think about the worst case scenario. But the language on this has definitely made a lot of people very interested in how this is going to be enforced and what is considered right and wrong, what is considered acceptable or unacceptable in Nintendo's terms. So now everyone's like, I can't believe that Nintendo is doing this, and they're saying that if you do something, if you mess around with your system, like that's going to be a problem. And they're acting like this is completely new. And that's where my problem lies. If you have
explain
with that being a thing, okay. That's your prerogative. I don't think it's going to affect 99.9% of people. I don't think it's anything to be worried about. But if you are concerned about the terminology used in there, then, that's on you. But to act like this is something new, that's what I have a problem with. Because if you know anything about history, and if you know anything about Nintendo themselves, and I am not a Nintendo apologist. I am far from it. I will crucify them all that I want. I will say whatever I want about them because I am not a fanboy of Nintendo. I just enjoy some of their stuff and I enjoy talking about them. But let's take a little history lesson here, kiddies. Let's take a little stroll down memory lane, shall we? Because this is not the first time that Nintendo has said something like this. Let's take a look at the Wii U. The Wii U, this is from the official
Oh, okay. So the Wii U is now involved. First, we learned about the 3DS. Now the Wii U, which is, I think, older.
EULA. I always have to spell that out like I'm slow or something like that. But basically, here the Wii U.
I gotta play a clip real quick.
Are you slow?
I love that. That Nicki Minaj clip gets me every time I hear. Like, are you like it just clicks in my head. I just love that. Are you slow?
Are you slow?
Oh God.
Console and accessories, the software and any services are constantly evolving. We may update or change your Wii U system in whole or in part without notice to you. Such updates or changes may be required to play your new Wii U game, enjoy new features, or continue to access Wii U services. After your Wii U system is updated or changed, any existing or future unauthorized modification of the hardware or software of your Wii U system or the use of unauthorized device in connection with your Wii U system will render the system permanently unplayable. Content obtained through unauthorized modification of the hardware or software of your Wii U system will be removed. You agree to not use your Wii U system in an unlawful manner to access systems, devices, accounts, or data of others, including Nintendo, without your consent. So, if you do the same thing with your Wii U, then they could brick it. This has been in the freaking information since the Wii U was a thing. So now we're going back in time. But RGT, maybe that was just an offhand thing. Maybe that wasn't the case for everything. I don't recall seeing that on the Wii U. I don't recall other companies saying stuff like that. That was just a one-off thing. Was it? Let's go back in time. Here is the end user
3DS
agreement for the Nintendo 3DS. From 2011. You understand that the Nintendo 3DS system specifications and the Nintendo 3DS service are constantly evolving and that we, Nintendo, may change or update the 3DS system or 3DS services in whole or in part without notice to you. Does this sound familiar? Just replace 3DS with Wii U. Such updates may be required to play new 3DS games, enjoy new features, or continue to access the 3DS service after the 3DS menu is updated. Any existing or future unauthorized technical modifications of the hardware or software of your 3DS system or use of an unauthorized device in connection with your system will render the system permanently unplayable. Content deriving from the unauthorized modification of the hardware or software of your 3DS system will be removed. Failure to accept the update may render games and new features unplayable. So, not only the Wii U was subject to this, but the 3DS was also subject to this. And I know what you're saying to yourself, well, RGT, that's not enough for me. That is not enough for me. I need more.
What else?
I am going to still pretend that this is a brand new thing that no video game company has ever put out there into the world as being a potential for something to happen if they figure out that you've modded or hacked your system. Never mind taking into account things like your PlayStation system or your Xbox system or something like that. We're just focusing on Nintendo here because Nintendo is the big, bad, evil person. Well, you want to go back?
They're all big bads. I'll agree with. They're all. None of these people are your friends. None of them. None of them. Not even the game devs. None of them are your friends. Period.
Back 2 decades, because I can go back to decades.
From what I learned and my experience, they are not your friends.
And we're going to go back 2 decades. I'm going to take you back to the past here. Unauthorized software services or devices for unlicensed accessories.
What's
Your
this?
Wii.
Oh, the Wii?
The Wii console and Wii network.
Well, of course.
Are not
The Wii and Wii U.
with unauthorized software, services, devices, or non-licensed accessories, and you may not use any of these with your Wii console or Wii network service. Such use may be illegal, voids warranty, and is a breach of this agreement. Such use may also cause injury to you or others, or performance issues or damage to the Wii console or Wii network service. We, and our licenses and distributors, are not responsible for damage. We may take steps to disable or delete any authorized software, services, or device installed on your Wii console, for example, by detecting and disabling them through the Wii network service and or game software. If we detect unauthorized software, services, or devices, your access to the Wii network service may be disabled and or your Wii console or games may be unplayable. So we're going back 2 decades with this. So now I'm going to bring it back to my main point here. This is nothing. This is absolutely nothing. And the fact, the common folk, okay, I can give common folk, people who maybe are newer to the video game industry, people who are uneducated on certain things, more casual gamers, sure. I can give you some leeway with that when you see the headline done by your favorite website. The problem is, these websites should have a little bit of decorum. These websites should have a little bit of self-respect. These reporters should have a little bit of context added into this to say, hey, this is not new. This has been around for a very long time. Pretty much since the inception of online gaming on consoles, this has been a thing. As far as dedicated online servers, as far as being able to download games or something like that. So I don't understand why this is news. I don't understand why people are reacting to this in such a negative manner, because it's something that has always been a thing. Yeah, if you hack your system, you're not going to be able to do things like play online. I had a hacked Xbox. I still have it, actually. I had a hacked Xbox when I worked at GameStop because I wanted to play original Xbox games. And guess what? I could not play that hacked Xbox on Xbox Live. I had to use Xlink Kai, which I'm surprised I even figured out how to use that in order to play Halo 2 online, because my system was modified. The system checks would not allow me to play the system online. This is something that has been instilled since online gaming was a thing, yet everyone's acting like it's new and, oh my God, they're getting...
Okay, so here's the thing about what he just said here that I'm kind of not agreeing with. I do agree. Now, the thing about me and my channel, my opinion will change and develop the more news information that I learn and acquire, which is just natural. We're human. We were supposed to, better ourselves with the information provided and to make a sound, updated judgment. Not to be flip-floppy, but just as long as it makes sense in the confines, that's a natural thing to do. But for what he said, and this is something that I was thinking in the back of my mind about these terms back in the day. Now, these terms do exist back in the day, and they exist to now. The only difference was the console, like he said, yeah, the console got banned and you couldn't play online, but the console was still usable. I'm gonna say it again. The console was still usable. You may not be able to go online, but you can still use the console. Do you get what I mean? So this is what I'm trying to get at. So back in the day with those consoles to now, supposedly, hopefully, even if you got banned because your hardware is modified, you can still, in theory, get a game like like a regular disc game, plop it in the disc drive, and play it without playing online. You couldn't play Halo, you couldn't play Call of Duty, and da da da. And even if he was still able to use Xbox Kai to access online servers and to still play, the hardware still belonged to him. He may not have access to the online features, obviously, because he does not own them. Because even when you pay for online features like Xbox Live, PlayStation Plus, Nintendo Online, you are paying a leasing agreement to pay monthly, yearly, or whatever to use it. To use it. Just like you pay for the internet, you pay to use it. The internet is not yours. You don't own that. You pay to use it. As long as you pay, you get to use it. Do we understand? Now, with the Switch 2, to my understanding, from the news, I don't know what Nintendo has changed from this video, my last video. Neither has been able to explain it to see if this is or is not the case. But it seems that if Nintendo finds that your hardware is modified, they will brick it, which means you cannot use it at all. You cannot use it to play games that you've already purchased, and you cannot use it to use some sort of off-brand system to get access online, which you shouldn't. But the hardware itself should still be usable to the user. And that is my opinion about it. I understand why he's talking the way he is, but I do not like. Now, he's talking about these people need to be having some decorum and to have some context. I think he should also have some decorum and some context based on what people are upset about, you know? So that's my take on the situation currently.
Gonna brick my system, and this is ridiculous, blah, blah, blah. It's like,
And I have
bro,
another point.
maybe you should sit this one out. Maybe this isn't a conversation that you need to be engaging in. Maybe this isn't a topic you need to be covering. I tend to shy away from topics that I'm not, super privy on unless I'm going to, do at least a little baseline research on it. But people are just left and right, front and center, going crazy over this. And I'm like, bro, damn, there's a lot of people who don't know what the hell they're talking about in this sphere. And it's like, sheep's being led to the slaughter with this because holy shit, man, the reaction to this story and the fact that a lot of websites also, perpetrated this as well and, put that out there. It's just like, man. And you all say that YouTubers are clickbaity. Holy shit. Like, damn. But yes, there's nothing to worry about. If you mess around with stuff, yeah, they might break your system. They might not let you go online or something like that. It's nothing new. Every company does it. I don't understand why people are freaking out about this warning, but there you go, folks.
Okay, so my next point, I really do not like how he's talking, but I understand how he's feeling. I just don't like the way he's talking about it. Now, as far as the other point of the maybe, the possibility of them bricking your console to it being unusable, we don't know. And that's what I said, we don't know. As far as the information of this agreement has already existed 20 years, whatever, with games, and nothing egregious has happened then, sure, yeah, we can assume so. Like, oh, this has been a thing since like 1997, so it's like they never did anything. What makes you think they're gonna do anything now? It's fine. Just don't buy just don't buy it. Just don't buy it. I don't like that. That's just us taking dirt and just throwing it on top of the problem. Oh, you don't like it? Here's some dirt. Throw it on top of that. Oh, you have a problem with it? Here's some more dirt. As you pat the dirt down. I don't like that. People have a right to be upset about this clause. People have a right to be upset that something they bought for a lot of money may not be usable. And as far as people being more wary about it than other times. Like, once again, because of COVID, a lot of people have gotten into gaming. So yes, there's a lot of new people, and they're maybe getting into the industry more, trying to be informed than they were before. Maybe they got burned or whatever, and now they're here, like me, and they want to be more informed, and this information scares them. That is completely justified. They're not idiots. They're not stupid. They're not babies. That's completely justified. Nothing in the past has changed it, and now we're in current times. So if it's still being existing, now the difference is Nintendo has shown that they are getting more egregious. They're getting more hostile. They are using the law, their lawyers, whatever, to really enforce what they want to enforce. And therefore, it is very justified for people to be like, if I were to mess with my thing in any way, shape, or form, I may not have access to it anymore. That's completely justified. Because once again, it's a slippery slope. But even though it's a slippery slope, it really shouldn't be. It should be like freaking simple, in my opinion. But of course, the world is not. It's not black and white. It's freaking gray, and it'll always be gray. Um, in my opinion, you buy something, you should be able to do whatever you want with it. Now, in terms of something that you cannot own, like the internet, like access to the online features, they can kick you out. They can totally do that. You're kicked out. You can't use our service anymore. We refuse service to you. They can do that. By law, they can do that. But as far as the product that I bought, I should be able to do whatever I want with it. I should be able to still play the games. I should still be able to do this, that, and the third. I bought it. That is mine. It's not a licensed product. It is not a rented, leased product. It is mine. So therefore, I think the worries of people are 100% justified. People should be backlashing against Nintendo about this, and there should be some changes about this. So in my opinion, for this video, for my response to this video, it should be yes, more people are getting into the gaming landscape, more people are getting into the industry, and a lot of people may not have known, and they are learning about it now. So therefore, now that we have these new people enough to cause an uproar, what can we do to make a change? What can we do to make Nintendo do something different? That way we don't have another, so that way they don't have another step into taking down game preservation, emulation, and all these other things that is very important to the gaming community and just to gamers in general. There's nothing wrong with that. You're not stupid for freaking out. You're not stupid for anything like that. As far as like overreacting, whatever, I don't think there's anything wrong with that personally. I think it's very much justified for people to be a little antsy, a little anxious about what's going on. My alarm just went off. So I'm gonna end it there. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think about the situation. I very much want to hear about I very much want to hear your thoughts about this. And if there's anything you guys want me to react to, please let me know. If it's about this topic or something else, I would love to see it, and I would love to have a conversation about it in the comments. And that's it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.